Welcome, dreamers, to another soothing and gentle journey through the Lumenverse. If you find solace and tranquility in calming tales of fantasy, paired with the delicate whispers of nature, please take a moment to like and subscribe to this channel. Your support helps the hollow to bloom and allows more souls to embark upon their peaceful journey. Now, as we begin this story, close your eyes and let the tranquil essence of the hollow transport you into a realm where the whispers of nature soothe the weary soul. In the depths of a secluded valley, as clouds embraced treetops and mist gently draped over winding rivers, there lay a place known only by those who had once wandered astray, Cloudvine Hollow, a place ungraced by any roadway and absent from any map. This was the haven that unassumingly discovered the seeker in their hour of need. Perched high upon a hill, sheltered among silver pines, stood an ancient, long-forgotten bell tower. Its bell cracked and its melody silenced by the passage of time. No clang nor chime sounded from the cracked bell, replaced by a gentle melodic tone resembling the brush of the wind against a pane of glass. The evening's night was destined to be marked by the soft song of the ancient bell, heralding a narrative where a weary wanderer named Leora, having traversed a long and treacherous journey, found herself on the path toward Cloudvine Hollow. Leora's leather boots were thinned and tattered from her long journey, the damp mist clinging to her cloak like a second skin. For weeks she had traversed without a destination, propelled only by the compulsion to keep moving. Driven, the entrance to Cloudvine Hollow did not make itself known through grandiose gates or luminous signs. Rather, it materialized through an unearthly quiet, a profound tranquility that muffled thought and soothed the mind. As she ventured beneath the shelter of silver-leaf trees, Leora discovered that the rain had grown oddly warm. It caressed her skin like a gentle lullaby, lacking the harshness characteristic of typical precipitation. Upon reaching her destination, Leora laid her eyes upon a quintessentially charming sight, a small cottage ensconced beside the antique bell tower. Plumes of smoke wafted lazily from a chimney, and a gentle glow emanated from a porch light. Nesting on the porch step was an elderly man dressed in a robe skillfully fashioned from delicate strands of verdant moss. A wide-brimmed hat shadowed his kind gaze, and as he looked upon Leora, he offered a simple greeting. "Welcome," he said softly. "We have been anticipating your arrival." Leora's leather boots were in a state of wear, having been subjected to the rigors of her extended journey, as the damp mist relentlessly clung to her cloak, like a second skin. During the span of weeks, she had traversed without a clear end goal, driven solely by the unquenchable compulsion to continue moving forward, propelled by the unearthing of a mysterious bell's melodic hum. Within the comfort of the cottage, the air was alive with a tantalizing sense of lavender, cardamom, and wood smoke. Aaron prepared a tea for Leora, crafted using the local cloudberries and moonroot plants. "You have journeyed a great distance," he remarked. Leora nodded weakly, her exhaustion evident. "Too far," she murmured. Aaron responded softly, "But you are here now, and that is enough." The two sat silently beside the hearth, their comfort derived from the presence of each other rather than an exchange of words. For the span of several days, Leora allowed herself to experience a period of rest. She slept deeply, found sustenance through the meals offered, and spent hours gazing at the mountains, their silhouettes blurred by the falling rain. Within the cottage, she came across a room filled with paper birds crafted by previous guests who had sought refuge at Cloudvine Hollow. On the seventh night, the bell's melody resonated once again, and Leora felt no fear. She ascended the slender steps leading to the bell tower, climbing higher and higher until she faced the bell. Time unfolded, and more weary souls ventured into Cloudvine Hollow, carrying their individual burdens. Amongst them was a young boy, burdened by lost dreams and a stifled imagination, a soldier seeking respite from a trembling sword hand and a wounded heart, an artist beset by a world that had lost its color. Leora welcomed them all, offering a comforting presence, brewed tea, and a patient ear. Under Aaron's tutelage, she learned not to mend broken souls, but rather to provide a sanctuary for their transformation. The rain continues to fall, a constant and comforting presence. Somewhere far away, an individual feels a subtle pull, a whisper that gently awakens them from their slumber. Though they may be unaware of it at the moment, Cloudvine Hollow extends an invitation. Perhaps it summons you as well. Be aware, it is not in search of individuals to mend or alter, but to offer a resting place for weary hearts. The bell will resound once again when the moment arrives. Rest now, dreamer. Allow the clouds to cradle your worries. The glow of Leora's candle had vanished long ago, and the embers in the hearth had dwindled to soft, flickering embers. Yet, a letter still lingered on the sill, shaped delicately like a bird, and sealed with a fragile wax seal. The words inscribed on it were as gentle as a whispered promise. To the one who stumbled upon this letter, in this place of quiet, you have already journeyed a significant distance. Your reasons for arriving, be it grief, hope, wonder, or the exhaustion brought by the world, each is meaningful. The night unfolded gently outside, the rain trickling harmoniously through the leaves. In the quiet, Leora smiled softly as she slept. Beyond the towering mountains, the bell stood dormant, waiting patiently for the right moment to sing. And within Cloudvine Hollow, stillness prevailed, ready to greet the next weary soul that sought its embrace. The rain persisted, a gentle drumbeat against the window pane. Inhale, exhale, match each breath, let it flow in and out with easy rhythm, slow, grounding. Know that you are safe. In the aftermath of the rain, the world was draped in a veil of silver, the ferns graced with glistening droplets of dew, and the moss between the cobblestones adorned with glimmering flecks of emerald. The clouds had softened, and the moon, though positioned low, emanated a kind, gentle gleam. Leora stood beneath the ancient bell, her shawl wrapped closely, as a lantern cast a warm glow around her. A subtle call from within her urged her to action, leading her to step out of the comforting boundary of the cottage and into a garden path previously uncharted. The trail was adorned by a mesmerizing spectacle of soft, drifting lights that cast a luminescent glow across the landscape, resembling tiny motes of starlight. These delicate sparks hovered mere inches above the ground, gently bobbing as if in a silent invitation to venture deeper into the misty woods. Leora continued her journey, her footsteps feeling miraculously light. It was as though the very earth was alive, drawing in rhythmic breaths in perfect harmony with her own breathing. As Leora continued down the winding trail, the towering pines of Cloudvine Hollow transitioned into trees adorned with willow-like vines, their branches twisting and twirling into patterns that resembled ancient, upraised fingers. There, nestled between two majestic arching oaks, stood a bench crafted from weathered driftwood, its surface smoothed over time by the hands of countless visitors. Delicately carved into the back of the bench, a single name was inscribed, Rowan. Leora's breath caught in her throat as a long-forgotten name reverberated within her, stirring memories that seemed to be just beyond her grasp. In a fleeting moment, a recollection surfaced. A boy, barefoot in the dirt, playing a reed flute with the grace of a summer breeze. Her brother, a cherished companion from her childhood, whose life had been tragically carried away by the relentless tide when they were still children. Leora settled onto the bench with deliberate slowness, the lantern's flame dancing with a gentle flicker as waves of dormant sorrow surged within her heart. In the face of that ache, however, no tears fell. Instead, she reached into her satchel and retrieved the delicate ribbon that had adorned her lantern the night prior. With tender care, she tied it to the bench. In a voice that trembled slightly, she uttered words laden with a long-held promise. I never stopped listening for you. Then, the wind stirred, gently strumming through the willow-like vines, as Leora walked back towards the cottage. Dawn had just begun to creep its way across the horizon, the mist rising and curling along the forest floor. Soft murmurs of the awakened birds could be heard in the trees. The ancient door of the cottage creaked open, almost as if the hollow itself had been awaiting her return. Within the small sanctuary, Leora found a kettle already warm, its contents steeped and ready. It was as if someone had just been there, preparing the tea, and then vanished. As the hours passed and the last embers of the fire dwindled, a soft veil of drowsiness enveloped Leora. Just as she was about to succumb to its gentle embrace, the ancient bell hanging from the tower outside gently swayed once, a silent vow. The hollow fell silent once again, resting patiently for the arrival of the next weary soul yearning for its comforting presence. Leora's slumber was interrupted by a faint whisper of distant music, like a memory echoing through the air. She stirred from her chair, the blanket sliding off her shoulders, and found that her tea remained warm, still steeping. The melody beckoned to her, and despite the early hour, she found herself slipping on her boots and stepping outside. The morning mist gently embraced the landscape, lazily dancing like the smoke from a dreaming fire. With each step the tune grew more distinct, and Leora followed the notes. As Leora continued along the path, she realized that this forest felt ancient in a way that went beyond mere age. The path was not neglected but actively remembered, like a route that only appeared when it was truly needed by someone. Each leaf glistened with the remnants of early morning dew, and mighty branches created an archway above that resembled the roof of a grand cathedral, crafted from moss and gnarled bark. It was at that moment that she discovered the source of the music. Hundreds of flutes, carved from various materials, resting calmly on branches, or perched on wooden pedestals. In the heart of the forest, a singular willow tree stood taller than the rest, its bark as fair as moonlight, with a gentle glow emanating from within its hollowed center. Leora approached the tree, her heart steady a lantern, and felt a familiar presence stirring. A quiet voice, neither masculine nor feminine, neither young nor old, echoed within her mind, speaking softly of the ribbon. It said, "You remembered." Leora closed her eyes, whispering a name that held a lifetime of longing and loss. Rowan. No spoken response came, only a gentle breeze that danced through the forest, shaping the notes from the flutes into a melody so tender, so filled with warmth, that it caused tears to form in her eyes. Suddenly, Leora realized this wasn't a visit from a ghost. It was the echo of a beloved memory, woven into the very fabric of the world, leaving behind an enduring trace of love. In that solemn silence, Leora lowered herself to the ground beneath the willow tree, her lantern joining the quiet glow of the grove's ambience. The flutes danced through the air, whispering stories with melodic notes. Tales of youth spent dancing through golden wheat fields, of laughter shared by the sea, and of lullabies that floated through the sky aboard ships beneath a moonlit sky. As she continued to listen, Leora began to recall more than just Rowan. She remembered her mother's laughter, her father's comforting voice, and the life she once lived within a village claimed by the tides. Time in Cloudvine Hollow seemed to flow differently. It moved like syrup, or a gentle dream. Leora couldn't quite gauge how long she sat beneath the willow tree, listening to its whispered tales. Upon her return to the cottage, the fire crackled with renewed life, the tea still steeped and untouched, and her bed remained warm. And upon her door, a gift awaited. A small flute, expertly carved from silvery willow wood, was now tied with a ribbon the color of the morning mist. The evening unfurled, finding Leora wrapped in the comfort of her quilt, her flute placed carefully upon the table nearby. The quiet instrument, though dormant, held a profound weight of significance. Outside, rain began to fall once more, a soft and steady rhythm that soothed the senses. Cloudvine Hollow, ever patient and serene, inhaled the night's embrace. The sanctuary was now in a state of restful anticipation, expectantly awaiting the arrival of its next guest. Long ago, within a forgotten corner of the expansive realm, embraced by mist-cloaked hills and hushed glades, there existed a tranquil haven known as the Whispering Hollow. This secret retreat was seldom charted on cartographic maps, for discovering it seldom resulted from conscious efforts. The hollow didn't clamor for attention. Instead, it patiently awaited the arrival of weary souls, offering solace to those who stumbled upon its concealed existence. In this secluded valley, in one moss-encrusted cottage draped with ivy curtains, dwelled Neva, a kind-hearted soul whose presence often sparked assumptions of mystical talents. Tether, an oversized white moth with wings as silent as shadows, fluttered faithfully behind her like a delicate silhouette of silk. Tether had materialized on Neva's doorstep one evening and remained ever since, finding refuge in her presence. Sensing a kindred spirit, Neva never questioned the reason behind Tether's arrival, leaving the mystery to unfold as it would. One morning, a peculiar hum, akin to an intangible lullaby carried on misty wings, stirred Neva from her slumber. Such inexplicable occurrences like streams that flowed backwards, and trees that bloomed in the darkest hours, weren't uncommon in the Whispering Hollow. Neva ventured through dew-spangled meadows and delved into a shadowy grove that housed an ancient and fractured stone ring. Its haunting presence whispered with an otherworldly hum, its significance lost in time. Drawing closer, she paused to murmur, "What do you need?" In return, a gentle warmth enveloped her, emanating from the stone, a warmth reminiscent of firelight embraced within one's hands. That very night, a peculiar storm approached, not brought on by raging winds or cascading rain, but rather a hushed stillness encompassing both sentient and inanimate beings. Upon awakening the following day, an unusual knock graced Neva's tranquil abode. Such occurrences were uncommon in the Whispering Hollow, as visits seldom graced their hidden corner of the world. As an unexpected young traveler stood at her doorstep clad in woolen garments, his weary gaze and voice reminiscent of cascading leaves, he gently announced, "I believe I'm lost." Neva, unhesitating, replied, "You're precisely where you're meant to be," opening the door wider to welcome him into her home. In Kalen's dreams that very night, the stone ring featured prominently, emanating a luminous glow that unveiled fleeting portals, akin to ethereal pages of forgotten tales. Neva appeared within the dream, her words echoing like whispers on a breeze, stating, "Each soul bears a story. Move forward, we must remember." Awakening with tears inexplicable, he found Neva standing by the doorstep, her gaze calm and understanding. This scene was not unfamiliar to her, as the Whispering Hollow's profound capacity to listen and listen deeply was a known phenomenon. Gradually, the Whispering Hollow embraced Kalen, as if he were a cherished memory, gently encircling him with its magical presence. Under the guidance of Neva, he learned to heed the whispers of the rustling foliage, harvest luminescent herbs, and nurture the ethereal moonflowers that bloomed only in response to joyous laughter. In turn, Tether's delicate presence added a comforting touch, with the moth finding comfort upon Kalen's shoulder, as if silently stating, "You are now an essential part of this place." As the stone ring's hum intensified, both Kalen and Neva approached it, drawn by the spectacle it presented. Within the center of the ring, a pathway materialized, composed of radiant lanterns suspended in the misty air. Glancing at Neva, Kalen inquired, "Should I follow it?" Neva's smile held a touch of melancholic understanding. "It's not about leaving, but rather remembering," she replied, placing a gentle hand upon his chest. "Wherever your path may lead, carry the essence of the Whispering Hollow within your heart." With a steady determination, Callan stepped through the ethereal pathway of lanterns, finding himself transported into the realm of forgotten memories, where fragments of his past converged. He traversed fragments of a lullaby sang by a mother, the echoes of a promise made beside a river, and the lingering sorrow left abandoned on a hillside. Gradually, tranquility enveloped him. Returning to the Whispering Hollow, Kalen found himself a day later, but Neva could sense that his absence spanned a considerably longer period in the outside world. Despite his experiences within the lantern pathway, Kalen remained silent, though there was a noticeable difference in the depth of his gaze. He chose to remain in the Whispering Hollow for some time after, aiding Neva, observing the flourishing garden that radiated with an ethereal glow, and sharing moments of quiet joy when the moonflowers bloomed under her care. One early morning, upon awakening, Neva found the young traveler missing, leaving behind an enigmatic stone ring humming with a gentle glow and a garden that seemed to possess an almost magical aura. The Whispering Hollow is elusive, appearing only to those who most require its solace, and in its presence the wind whispers to the soul, while even the moss beneath your feet seems to exude a soothing warmth. Should you stumble upon an ethereal haven adorned with ivy curtains and steeped in nostalgia, offer a greeting to the kind woman who serves a tea that holds the essence of lost memories. Whisper to her that Tether sends her regards. Time continued to weave its delicate thread, with the Whispering Hollow gracefully transitioning through the seasons. Winter draped the land in a serene and peaceful embrace, and the first buds of spring emerged with a soft and gentle laughter, painting the countryside in a fresh hue of pale green. Neva embraced the simple rhythm of her days, lovingly tending to her garden, stirring honey into her tea, and occasionally finding herself lost in contemplation while gazing upon the faintly glowing stone ring, often pondering the whereabouts of the young traveler, Kalen. Despite the passage of time, Neva's solitude was never fully palpable, for the Whispering Hollow continued to hum softly, maintaining its steadfast presence. Birds flitted through, exchanging tales on the wind, while Tether, the moth, gracefully swirled within the ambient glow, embodying a whisper come to life with every flutter of its wings. Occasionally, curious children from the distant hills would find their way into the hidden valley, stumbling upon it almost by accident or perhaps fate. Their brief sojourns culminated in their pockets filled with shimmering seeds, and no recollection of how they had wandered into such an elusive place. As the Whispering Hollow lay immersed in the gentle pitter-patter of raindrops, a series of measured knocks on the door shattered the tranquility. Neva opened it with deliberate slowness. Standing at the threshold was a wanderer, neither young nor old, his eyes wise yet kind, his shoulders broad and robust from traversing countless paths, and his cloak clinging to his figure, bearing the traces of faraway lands. Yet, despite all the changes, one thing remained constant, his warm and familiar smile. Kalen, still wrapped in a comforting blanket, broke the tranquility by softly greeting, "Hello, Neva." Neva responded not with words, but with silent actions. He carefully enveloped him in a warm embrace and handed him a steaming mug of tea, a blend that held the essence of a profound sense of belonging. Amidst the backdrop of the falling rain, Kalen found refuge beside the hearth, a comforting glow illuminating the room. Tether quietly perched beside him, while a peaceful silence settled like a soft blanket over their shared space. In the gentle touch of night, Neva and Kalen found themselves seated beneath the vast expanse of stars, their breaths visible in the cool, crisp air. Tiny fireflies danced around them as if they were wandering thoughts, igniting the surroundings in an enchanting display. Kalen's words broke the silence, his voice carrying a sense of understanding. I now comprehend, he uttered softly. Neva looked upon him with eyes that held a soothing gaze, listening intently. The whispering hollow, he continued, it's alive, and it grants people not answers but moments to rediscover themselves. The whispering hollow persevered steadfastly, patiently awaiting all manner of wanderers, dreamers, and seekers who had misplaced something beyond description. It moved without haste, never clamoring for attention, yet its presence could be sensed in the gentle rain, the whispers of the wind, and even within the steady rhythm of a heartbeat. Should one genuinely listen, a spiral garden might manifest before them, with a white moth gently brushing against their shoulder, followed by the warm invitation of tea that resonated with the essence of forgotten memories. As the night lingered, a tranquil silence enveloped the whispering hollow, lulling both Neva and Kalen into a peaceful rest. Kalen dozed off, the comforting aromas of mint and smoke embracing them. Tether, the silent white moth, found solace as well, settling on a pillow with a soft flutter of wings and the quiet lullaby of its own dreams. But, within the realm of the hollow, dreams were quite distinct. In the very core of the whispering hollow, tucked beneath the roots of old elder trees, and among memories of fleeting moments, there existed another garden. Within the mystical confines of the dream world, Neva found herself barefoot upon a gently pulsating soil, surrounded by blossoms that glowed with a soft blue, gold, and purple effulgence. The air felt pleasantly cool, akin to the twilight hours on a mountain summit. A familiar voice, reminiscent of flowing water and the comforting caress of smooth stones, echoed in the atmosphere. Welcome back, the voice said, resonating softly. Upon turning, Neva beheld the essence of the whispering hollow. Though it held no particular shape or form, it felt like a shimmer, a soothing glow. Neva found a comfortable seat on the luminous ground, her voice inquisitive as she posed her query. Why now? Why this dream? The hollow responded gently, its essence woven into the very fabric of the dream's tapestry. Because you are whole, and now, it's the opportune moment to begin anew. Neva gazed upward, witnessing the celestial dance of stars that wove tales across the expansive sky. Amidst these cosmic narratives, she discerned glimpses of her own past, of Kalen's youthful curiosity, of sowing the very first seed within this fertile soil. Neva awakened to the gentle caress of sunlight upon her face, and the garden greeted her with a symphony of avian tunes and dewdrop harmonies. Kalen was already diligently engaged in repairing the stone border surrounding a patch of golden squash. Tether leisurely fluttered around the window, a tranquil presence. The tranquility of the landscape seemed unchanged, yet somehow, everything felt different. During breakfast, Neva found herself drawn to confide in Kalen. I dreamt of the hollow last night, she shared quietly. Neva carefully packed 3 warm loaves of bread into her satchel, along with a jar of honey, and penned a simple note. For the next who wanders, you are welcome here. She placed the bundle just beyond the entrance to the spiraling garden, where its gentle embrace welcomed the lost wanderer who would soon approach. Returning to her home, Neva found comfort in the familiar sounds of life, the singing kettle and Kalen's melodious hums as he labored diligently. The passage of days in the whispering hollow adopted a calm rhythm, akin to music, with the soft sound of bread rising at dawn's gentle touch, the gentle clink of tools in Kalen's hands, and Tether's drowsy chirps, fluttering from one window ledge to the next. Neva tended her herbs, her humming blending with ancient lullabies. Just as dusk draped the sky in hues of rose and lavender, Neva found herself standing on the edge of the garden, gazing toward the distant hills. Kalen, his hands wiped clean on a cloth, stepped up beside her. Neva's nod indicated a sense of anticipation. Or something old, a memory perhaps, she murmured. That night, insomnia enveloped both of them, leading them to walk the spiral path armed with lanterns. They progressed purposefully, yet without haste or trepidation, as though reacquainting themselves with a destination they subconsciously recognized. That night, the spiral path ventured deeper than usual, and the moon sat full and bright in the sky. The whispering hollow was alive, its energy almost tangible in the air. As they ventured deeper into the wooded path, they discovered a new grove adorned with luminous lanterns, suspended from willow branches like thoughtful fireflies. Amidst these ethereal lights, an awe-inspiring stone statue stood, featuring a young girl with arms extended, cradling a tiny star in her hands. Neva knelt before the sculpture, brushing away the overgrowth that clung to the stone. Callan read the inscription etched into the base of the statue, "For the keepers of the light." While observing, a lantern detached from the trees, gracefully floating into Neva's open palms. The lantern was carefully positioned near the hearth, its glow casting a mesmerizing array of vibrant hues that carried an aura of nostalgia. Those who sat by it experienced dreams steeped in the essence of ancient gardens, lofty towers, and whispering oceans. Each visitor discovered a quiet place within the hollow, a chair by the fire, a cozy bed woven from moss, a patient ear that offered solace. The whispering hollow expanded, but its essence remained unchanged. Even after Neva and Kaelin completed their final journey, their tale lived on, woven into the fabric of the world through stories, wind, and the warm glow of lanterns that hung from the newly grown branches. Whenever a soul yearned for tranquility, the hollow softly spoke, extending a welcoming invitation. "Come home. There's always space for those who seek solace." Years had passed since Kaelin and Neva's presence graced the whispering hollow, and their garden had reached the final chapter of its earthly bloom. Amidst the gentle whisper of nightfall, a soft-spoken boy named Thylo appeared at the threshold of the hollow, his hair gleaming golden like a field of wheat, and his eyes mirroring the tranquility of a distant body of water. Carrying nothing but a modest satchel woven from moss and embroidered with shimmering star-like trinkets, Thylo unwittingly stumbled upon the hollow, after being beckoned by its gentle call during his dreams. The whispering hollow greeted Thylo with a palpable sense of recognition, a wordless welcome that echoed through the atmosphere. The familiar lanterns still glimmered in the darkness, their flickering glow bearing a nostalgic touch. Thylo encountered the overturned spiral path, but made no objection. Taking a moment, he carefully cleared the tangled growth and delicately repaired the ancient wooden sign. "The hollow, rest for all who wander." Within the quaint cottage, a tranquil haven unveiled itself. A cozy hearth, an arranged circle of intricately carved chairs, and a lantern beside the window that still harbored traces of warmth. That night, the rain began to cascade softly, akin to the soothing cadence of lullabies. Thylo nestled into the corner chair, enveloped in a quilt adorned with constellations. He ignited the lantern and unveiled an ancient book that had been carefully tucked away in a drawer, exuding aromas of fragrant sage and calming lavender. The pages of the book were filled with stories that unraveled a rich tapestry. The tale of Neva's dreamlike garden, the chronicles of Kaelin's forge, where more than mere metals were fashioned, and the legend of the Grove of Lanterns, where memories came to life. Time rolled by like a gentle river, and Thylo remained, not out of obligation, but from an abundance of love. Gradually new arrivals appeared, lost souls and dreamers and children who chased after butterflies. Thylo offered each one a welcoming cup and stories from the ancient book, never asking for names, unless they felt inclined to divulge them. The hollow didn't require explanations, only the presence of those who sought peace. With each visitor who joined the circle, the hollow grew, embellished with additional seats, cozy beds, and additional quiet sanctuaries beneath the blooming trees. A week unfolded within the realm of the whispering hollow, transitioning from rain to misty mornings and ultimately to soft golden hours. Philo resumed planting seeds, not only for flora but also for intangible emotions, peace, wonder, stillness, and hope. One morning, he caught sight of a novel presence. Near the center of the hollow, where an ancient oak once stood proudly, a sapling had taken root. Distinct from the other trees, it emitted a soft phosphorescent glow even under the sun's golden rays. With gentle steps, Thylo cautiously advanced towards the radiant sapling. Upon reaching out his hand, a harmonious hum enveloped the surroundings, originating from the hollow itself, a melody resurfacing after a long lull. This tree, referred to only in ancient tales, blossomed when the hollow was prepared, when its guardian had kindled sufficient hearts, pacified numerous tempests, and ignited adequate lanterns. Under Thylo's nurturing care, the legendary lantern tree had been successfully rejuvenated. That evening, the lanterns hung from the lantern tree suddenly flickered to life without being ignited, casting mesmerizing light around the hollow. As Thylo observed this phenomenon, the air appeared to shimmer, and from the lanterns, delicate wisps materialized. Through these fleeting images, he beheld fragments of the past. He witnessed Neva's laughter echoing within the garden, Kaelin's forge ablaze with purpose, the sight of weary travelers seeking respite amongst comfortable blankets, children frolicking beside a babbling brook, and animals comfortably resting on window ledges. The Whispering Hollow had remembered. As days passed, more weary souls sought solace in the Whispering Hollow, finding themselves in its embrace. A painter who had misplaced the ability to dream, a young baker burdened by a sense of cold, and an aging knight bereft of joy arrived. Hilo greeted them all with open arms, brewing calming tea infused with soothing lavender and mint, meticulously piecing together star-speckled quilts, and extending the circle of chairs who sought solace. Some would remain a fleeting night, while others would take root for a lifetime. Perhaps you ventured into the Whispering Hollow through the realm of dreams, the realm of memory, or perhaps even the rain. No matter how you arrived, the lanterns here were ignited for you, and the rain outside your window sings a soft welcome. So, rest your weary eyes, dear traveler. Inhale the quiet of this place. The stories can wait for another moment. When sunlight once more blankets your windows, the hollow shall remain as always, an unwavering harbor for your weary soul. We shall meet again, in your next tale, within the Lumenverse.